I'm Jessica Chobot, and welcome to All Kings Considered. Oh, excuse me, let me move this coffee cup from the table that doesn't belong.
It does.
It was
in the episode.
Yeah. It's our Game of Thrones after show where we break down the latest theories, the hot damn moments, and what's next for the land of Westeros. If you're just joining us for the first time, we're live on both Nerdist YouTube and Geek and Sundry's Twitch, so be sure to subscribe. That way we can take your comments and questions throughout this show, so get them in now. Our own three-eyed raven, Lee Travis, is ready to push them out. Ew. That was a terrible transition.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I liked it.
Lee Travis is ready to answer your questions.
Sure, let's go with that one. People are talking about that coffee cup, just all
Just
over the
chilling.
internet. Just, Starbucks plug for them.
Starkbucks?
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
There we go.
I like
I
it.
saw that floating around Twitter, and I was like, you know what?
Nice.
I'm into it now.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
I get some.
Now, last night was the 4th episode of Game of Thrones' final season, and that means it's time to break it down, so beware, like winter, spoilers are here. And with that, let's meet our panel. Joining us on the panel today is Nerdist producer and all-around okay guy, Jason Wynn.
Yeah, I'm an okay guy.
pretty-
I'm only okay.
Yeah, you're pretty okay.
Yeah,
Like, you
I
don't
agree.
make me feel one way or the other.
Me neither.
Making his second appearance on the show, Nerdist bad boy. Oh, that's definitely an
Now
angle.
I'm
Riley
offended.
Anderson.
I'm the bad boy? If I'm the bad boy, our standards are low for bad boys.
As well as the host of The Meaning of Podcast, Andre Cabrera?
That's right.
Did I get it right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Cabrera. All right, so what are you working on right now besides the podcast?
Yeah, so I have my podcast where I talk about directors on the Meaning of Podcast. I also do another Game of Thrones podcast with a friend of mine. It's called Casterly Talk. So
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome. That's a good.
That's
That's
a
a
good one.
good title.
Nice.
it's a good title.
Very nice. How? When do they come out?
Tuesday mornings. So we are recording tonight.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. And finally, you can see her over at Super League Gaming and the Geek and Glitter podcast, Kim Harcher.
Hey, everybody.
How's
Yeah.
it going? What have you been working on?
I have a new podcast coming out today, actually.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah,
Also,
for
I
Geek
love
and
that
Glitter.
earring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's from the Ren
earrings.
Fair.
Oh, yeah, man. Ren Fair's the best. I bought a bunch of jewelry there, too.
Yeah.
Did you have a turkey leg?
No, I had a lot of pies, though.
Oh, I
like
didn't see
meat
the
pies.
Oh,
that sounds
meat
so
pies,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, they're past the food court.
Oh, okay.
So if you want pie, you have to just know it.
Yeah.
Good to know. That is a handy
Local
hint.
tip.
Local tip. All right, so with that, let's get into last night's episode. Now, without diving too deep into things, let's get everybody's initial impressions on the 4th episode called The Last of the Starks. Now, in a few sentences, overall, what did you guys think? Kim, why don't we go with you?
Tonally weird. And I'm not using full sentences, I'm just using phrases. Fast shifting, kind of. I didn't buy a lot of the character changes that happened.
Yeah, there were some hard left turns.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I would say not really true to the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the Starks are now saying, "Oh, we're the last Starks," which is very Lannister or early Lannister. So I don't know. Are you just becoming the enemy now?
Yeah. I don't know.
What do you think?
I liked it. I guess I'm one of the few who liked it. But I definitely think it was a different episode, I guess for lack of a better word. It's a bold episode. I think the thing that's taking people out of the episode is a little bit of the logic leaps, especially towards the third act, specifically with flying over and not seeing certain ships coming at you. But that's just one of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, like, hey,
No,
we're getting
NBD.
kind of
It's
close.
like we have the
Maybe
high
we should be
ground.
on alert.
Yeah.
Exactly. But otherwise, I enjoyed what they're doing. I'm curious to see where it's going, though.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Overall, I thought, much like Jason, it was okay.
This episode is the Jason
It was
of
okay.
episodes.
Wow.
It's
okay.
Yeah.
It's not unimpressive, but you know.
I liked it. I agree. I had some questionable moments with Dany and the fleet and all of that stuff, which we'll get into later. But overall, with the characters and like where I think they're trying to head. I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was entertained. It was good enough for me. Much like Jason.
Just
Good
like
enough. Kyle, what about you?
So this was a longer episode, like 70 some minutes. There was a point when I was watching, where it felt like, oh, this is probably where it would end if it were a normal episode, and that
Yeah.
would have been a great episode. And then everything they did after that was like, okay, and it was just like, now we need to speed up the plot because we spent so much time with them just kind of hanging out. So it was
Yeah.
weirdly paced, I think, was my big takeaway.
The one thing I'm really nervous about is I hope that the next few episodes and the finale is not ho-hum because they spent all their time trying to give us that battle from last week.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I hope that wasn't the peak and we just don't know it yet. I need a little one step more up.
Yeah,
Like,
a little
not
boost.
necessarily grandiose scale, just,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
give me story-wise.
I think-
Jason, what do
go
you
ahead.
think? Oh, sorry.
I thought it was. Hey, here's the simplest way I can put it without losing my mind. I think it was good dialogue, the best dialogue of the season so far, but bad plot. Bad plot. Bad plot things happening where I went, what's happening? Why would you do that? And why do I
Yes.
care so much?
Also, I want to know what was going on between the Dany Jorah lost in translation moment where she's whispering stuff but you don't know what she's
Yes.
actually saying. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
this modern day mystery. All right, so over on Nerdist.com, Michael Walsh, who broke down the episode, described it as Game of Thrones at its best and worst. On the one end, you have complex characters and interwoven storylines that pay off, and on the other end, it appears that everyone has been taking stupid pills. Would you agree with this assessment?
I think
did.
that's the
That's
best
solid.
assessment.
Solid.
I see why he's a
Everybody
reviewer.
is railing stupid pills. They're crushing them up, and everybody's having a party.
To answer your last question, I think Sapochnik is directing the next episode,
Yeah,
right? So I
that's
think
right.
we're going to get another big kind of battle moment, probably, Cersei versus Dany's army. So there's that. So hopefully that pays off.
Dany's army. What army, am I
Yeah.
right? Oh.
Not just that, but the fact that she lines up her 20 unsullied outside the gates
Yeah.
of King's Landing, and it's like Cersei can destroy that. in
Look
like,
how few people I have.
exactly.
now.
It's like
don't
you have your
understand why she
personal
didn't.
security.
Why
outside.
didn't she just blast them?
I don't know.
It's in her character to do it.
She's in she's flying on a dragon that spits fire. Why couldn't she have flown around the boats and got them from the back end? Like, unless they were double. That
No, I don't-
sounded
I don't know
terrible,
a
what I
ton
was
of-
about to say, but double mounted with the dragon killing machines.
I
Those
don't-
things are awesome, by the way.
I don't know a ton about giant sailing ships, but I'm gonna guess that they take a while to turn around.
Well, based on
So-
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I can tell you that depending on what kind of wind you have and how fast your crew reacts, you actually can do a pretty tight turn.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
But
But let's get into
If-
how the game crashed on me.
okay.
No, go ahead. What do you have to say?
If she can't see him, how did he get a straight shot at the dragon?
Yeah, like many,
How does that
many
work?
shots lined
D&D
up, yeah.
rules, man.
And
if it
why
doesn't work with D&D, it doesn't
Drogon-
work in the show.
He was flying way closer than Rhaegal.
Yeah, line of
Why didn't
sight.
he get shot?
Yeah, it's
Maybe
it's,
they had a sniper that they just decided
it's like the
not to show.
curving wanted bolts.
Yeah.
Scorpion bolts,
Wanted
but
bullets.
curved.
All right, well, we're getting off track because I do want to talk about this because that was probably my biggest, the best scenes of the show, but also my biggest problem with the show was like that whole shebang. After the Battle of Winterfell, Game of Thrones got back to political plotting and people making bad decisions. Is this kind of Game of Thrones you like, or do you prefer the big battles like last week?
No, I
Yeah.
prefer the politics.
Yeah.
I want it to be smart politics. Like we've seen before, specifically Tyrion. Like, are we sure Tyrion is the same Tyrion as far as
He
decisions?
does seem very different.
He seems very like not thinking, if that makes sense. Especially when he's walking towards Cersei. He's like, what does he think he's gonna do? Like, this obviously didn't work before.
I actually like that scene.
Okay.
I like that scene because it shows that Tyrion, at the end of the day, cares about Cersei and might be the last person
And
to
his
care about
family, yeah.
Cersei like this. Not ruling out Jaime, but I don't know where Jamie's head at
I feel like
is right now.
Jamie's.
I think he's
It's,
gonna go
I
get
think
her.
he's gonna go get her and,
Yeah.
and kill her. But I think Tyrion walking towards the wall, it's definitely a stupid pill moment. But it does show that like he's still even with like a million archers at him, willing to like reason with his sister, and I think that's chill.
See, I liked it, but for somewhat different reasons. I liked it because it said to me, this is the most Tyrion we've seen Tyrion since the beginning because he's not afraid of Cersei. He's never really been afraid of her. He's been wary of her, but he's not afraid to talk to her. And this is the time where he decides he's going to try and double dip with that again. Whereas you know, he's been living with the Lannisters who've been doing terrible, terrible things for years and years and years. He shouldn't, why he's afraid of Daenerys, besides the fact that she has dragons, you know, because of what
Dragon.
well, now she's got a
Dragon.
dragon. With the exception of, you know, when Sansa calls him out on it, I was just like, this doesn't, who is this Tyrion? This Tyrion doesn't make sense to me. The Tyrion walking out onto the field to be like, yo, Cersei.
He's tired.
Come on. You know what? He has
tired.
been
Give him-
working
give him-
really
yeah.
hard. That is
He's putting some long
true.
hours.
He did have that moment where he said, "Oh, your child," and you see Euron go, "What?"
Yeah.
Well, how the hell does Tyrion know that she's...
He knows.
Because Jamie
Last
told him.
season.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Okay.
He saw her.
But it's also
Hang
last season when she kind of, you know, put her,
She
put
did
her hand on her
this.
stomach and Tyrion was
That's
like, oh,
right.
you're pregnant.
I forgot about
So
that.
he may have been planting the seeds of.
Planting.
She's lying to you about your seeds.
I think it was badass how he like walked in front of that other advisor he's supposed to parlay with, and he's like, "Well, if you're just a mouthpiece, I'm gonna go talk to my sister, dude."
Yeah.
There's
Also,
that
I
look,
love that.
and he's just like, I don't
Get-
have time for
get
you.
me a
Get out
manager.
of here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I felt like Qyburn was making the most sense at that moment. It's like, we got a bigger army. We just killed one of your dragons. We got more of these
Well, this
dragon-killing scorpions.
Also, Daenerys is just trying to show the fact that she's trying to play nice. She probably, you know, she doesn't. She can't be so stupid that she thinks she's actually going to take King's Landing with 20 Unsullied and a dragon. But she made that whole big push about how she doesn't want to look like the supposed bad guys that she's been railing against for so many seasons, even though she totally is that person now. So she's going to try to make this like limp-dicked effort.
Biscuit effort.
This Limp Bizkit effort to like look as if she's trying to be good, when in actuality she's not.
Yeah, and Cersei is playing right into that too by egging her on even more.
I was gonna say something. Can I just make one more point before we move on? I wanted to ask you, since you're the one that's mentioning it, do you think that this is all part of Cersei's grand plan? Like, she knows the type of bloodline and the Mad King that Daenerys comes from, and she's rolling the dice to see if she can push her to her limit so that she snaps and then does I mean, I know she was already thinking of that as far as a tactical maneuver by having the doors open and all the people in the front, but she could have done that with anybody. Do you think she's going one more level up, and she actually has a battle plan to make her turn insane?
I think she is trying to, because the one thing, Cersei has all the power right now, but the one thing she doesn't have is the respect and love of the people, and she could give two shits about the people themselves, but that's the one way that she could fail, really, is if they, they could overthrow her, because that's what happened to the Mad King. So if she eggs Daenerys on to attack, then she's defending her people, and everyone will love her and everything. She'll win handily.
Although I wonder if the people are going to be like, "Don't you think you should shut those doors?" And she's like, "No, it's cool."
Yeah.
Like, but Cersei.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah, this is somebody who set fire to the Sept of Baelor. People will remember
That's
this.
another question I
They
have.
had it coming though a little bit.
That's-
Too.
Yeah, after the wildfire, did nobody want to rebel? Did nobody wonder if the ethics about this is kind of weird in King's
Does
Landing?
everyone know it was Cersei though?
I don't know. Somebody
I feel
did.
like-
I don't
What is
think
she
that
telling
they-
the
I don't
people?
think they know it was her.
Yeah.
But nobody's asking questions. That's my problem.
I'm sure the questions are being asked, but very quietly and in places
yeah.
where you can't,
in the
little
market?
birds can't hear
What
you.
about that green fire?
Our complaint department is this man here, the Mountain.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's get into the biggest moment of the show: Cersei's ambush on Daenerys' forces, which we've kind of already been talking about. First off, has Dany or anyone on her team heard of an advanced scout party? Hello,
No.
play some Civ 6, man.
I don't even
That's
know
all
if she's
you
heard
know.
about warfare. Kind of. She's not been doing anything.
This is the
right.
one time what Sansa's advice to her was actually beneficial to her, which was wait and heal up. No one goes into a boss battle, without preparation and damaged.
Yeah.
And it's not like that was undermining Dany in any way. So it was just pure pettiness.
Yeah.
Why she wouldn't accept that advice. That
Yeah.
was weird for Dany's character. Just for me, why is she so petty and this hour of need?
And strategically, the safest place for them to be right now is at Winterfell, which
Yeah.
has the most battlements. It's the furthest away from King's
Yep.
Landing.
Yeah.
She's petty because she knows that everybody likes Jon and the Starks more than her, and now she's getting herself all worked up
Yeah.
because she's not the most popular girl at the school.
I think that's the biggest problem with the show right now, right? Is that Dany fought for her people, which were the Dothraki, the Unsullied, and all these people across the sea. She comes over to Westeros, and all of those people are pretty much dead. Like, this Dothraki are wiped out, right? There's might be a few left. The Unsullied are like half their forces. So she's kind of failing as a leader because her people are dying.
But she's been failing since day one. Remember, even when she started taking and releasing these people, she never put anything else in place to, like, she's always kind of just come in, done what she thinks she should be doing, which never is really what you should be doing, and then piecing out and moving on and leaving destruction kind of and chaos in her wake under the guise of she's freeing everything. Well, yeah, you kind of did, but also now you've just made it worse for everybody as a whole. So I guess we're all on an even keel.
I just find it crazy how little she's reacted to, like, the loss of so many people that she cared passionately about the whole show. They died in some, defending the living, but it seems to have unfazed her.
Yeah, they did give her one line where I think when she was at the table with everybody discussing, like, their next phase, where she made some sort of comment about how she had sacrificed everything to come over and help do this, and that's why they're not moving forward, and she's pissed. But that was kind of the only line they gave her to act as if she cared about the masses that she's brought.
I just feel... She even told Jon at that moment, she said, I know that look because that's the look the people gave me in Essos. But when I've come here, no one has given me that because you're not from here, Dany.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you're not getting this look, you're not getting this respect. It all goes back to the shipmaster back when she met on the city, I forget the name of the city, the greatest city that ever was.
Karth?
Yeah. But he tells her, it's like, you're not from Westeros. Like, as much as you want to rule Westeros, you're not from there, you never grew up there. People don't know who you are. So regardless of all the success she built in Essos, she doesn't have that same success in Westeros. She only has failure here.
And on top of that, at that point, she was in Winterfell, which I feel is even more kind of grouped together.
Clicky.
Yeah. They have to huddle together to stay warm. You make tight friendships. So Dany also lost Missandei. So let's pour one out for her. What do you guys think of how her death was handled?
Why'd they go after her? How did they know
How did they even capture her?
Why not go after Grey Worm or anybody else or Tyrion? Like, why pick her out of the wreckage? I don't understand.
Did they just hear the one black woman in the whole world?
Yeah.
Her best friend?
Oh no, a minority! Get her! I don't know.
That's probably what it was.
Who knows?
It's messed up.
The only thing I can think of is Grey Worm told her to go to the skiff, which I'm assuming is a kind of like a safety.
It's like a lifeboat.
It's a boat.
lifeboat.
It's like a little,
So
rowboat.
maybe they just went to capture people in general, realized Missandei was in there because of probably what she was wearing, which was probably better than whoever else, and so figured she was, somebody knew some connection to her, and then we're like, nope, snag that one.
She's on the same boat as the Hand of the Queen, who's also Cersei's brother, Tyrion.
No, Tyrion fell into the
He
water.
jumped in the
Oh,
water
he jumped
on his
in the
own.
water,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's why I think Missandei I think that's their loophole, is that she tried
on
to
the
escape
rowboat.
and was on the rowboat, and they captured the rowboat and maybe took her because somebody knew who she was.
Yes.
I think this is another case too of, I'm gonna say it, fridging. This is
Yeah.
totally fridging.
Yes.
Fridging is essentially like killing off a female character to build motivation for the male character.
yeah.
Or
Really?
in this case,
Yeah,
Dany.
it happens in
heard of
comic
that.
books a lot.
Yeah.
Why
Where
is it called
Because the
fridging?
person got cut up and put into a refrigerator.
Yeah.
for him to
That's
find.
it.
Jesus
Oh
Christ!
my God,
I think
internet,
it's Green
relax.
Lantern.
Yeah, Green
So-
Lantern in the 90s, was
Yep.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, that happened to Green Lantern?
Yeah, his girlfriend throughout most of the comics. At one point, he finds her cut up in a fridge,
Oh,
my
my
God.
God!
Which is horrible.
That's some Dexter.
That is hard.
which then bolstered him to go into action. Which is
Yeah.
why people are like, "Cool, this woman who
So
never
essentially,
wrote for."
the point is
she
like
dies
building up a female character
Yeah.
in order to kill her off so
For
it
someone
can
else's
motivate
story.
someone
For someone
It's
else, yeah.
terrible. It's poor writing, and I feel like that's exactly what they did to Missandei. Not just for Grey Worm, because that's the obvious one, but also for Dany, just to make her go crazy. Because she
Yeah.
lost Jorah, she lost Rhaegal, and now Missandei. Essentially, they're giving her the bad day storyline.
Right.
Yeah.
For one bad day, as far as the Joker
Oh, that's
goes.
really good,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah, that's what they're giving her. She's
totally
always
right.
been leaning towards Mad Queen, but she never went full Mad Queen. But now that they killed off her 3 friends
Right.
and her
the
children,
people who's
Her
been with
best
them.
friends.
Yeah.
they're,
Right
they're
after-
giving
right,
her
yeah.
the Mad Queen storyline to kind of do the Mad Queen versus Mad Queen, which essentially means we don't have a good option between Cersei and Dany because I think they're both going to be unstable.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And they're
I have a whole theory that it's really going to be Jon that ends up riding in on the dragon, and then I'm wondering if Dany makes the decision to shoot him out of the sky and so sacrifice her last child herself in order because she wants the throne, and so she's going to take Jon out. I mean,
I think
I
Jon's
do
a
think
dead
she's
man.
going to try and take
Yeah.
Jon
I
out.
think so
I think Jon's
too.
a dead man.
John's dude.
No, I think he is. I just think
Yeah.
that it's going to be her in some capacity. I just hope it's the dragon thing, but in some capacity, it's going to be Dany that's going to kill Jon.
I don't know. I don't even know if he'll make it. I don't even know if he'll
Well,
make it. to
the
end.
Lord of Light brought him back for a reason,
Yeah.
and when he's done with that reason, he doesn't need to live
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
That's true.
Good point.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
He's
gonna take off his
Here's
necklace.
another thing. I don't think he'd be a great ruler either. Anyway,
No.
Kyle,
He's the
it says
dumbest
to
man on
Kyle
earth.
Anderson, so this is
Hi.
for you.
Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Okay.
Great.
On Nerdist.com, you wrote up both the deaths of Rhaegal and the dragon and Missandei. Whose death had the biggest impact on the show?
Well, I think both were handled very poorly. Because first of all, Rhaegal got the crap kicked out of him in last week's episode, and then I didn't even know if he had survived or not because like he kind of just disappeared. And so then they made a big deal out of the fact that he's wounded but he's back, he's doing okay. And then this is the
Catches
most
one
violent
right-
death I've ever seen.
Right in
this
his
poor
face.
dragon.
We have
gets-
to watch it again?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Good job, B.
Thanks, B-roll.
Oh my gosh, you guys double shot him in the face. I
Yeah.
saw that. I
Oh.
saw what you did there.
So that sucks.
Yeah.
Do we think he's dead?
Oh,
Yes.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, okay,
So-
all right. I don't know.
but
Shut your mouth.
Okay,
Jason,
all right.
man.
I've got questions.
But it like to the point that was just raised, like I do think that this is all just to further Dany's like possible turn to the dark side kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think either death really was necessary, like other than just for plot purposes. I think at this point they're just like plot. Like why didn't because they made a big deal about people dying in the battle last week, and with the exception of Theon and Jorah, nobody who died was all that important,
Yeah.
really. And so then they just like slaughter two characters who kind of don't deserve it, just to bolster more
I mean,
storyline.
I feel that out of the two of them, Rhaegal, am I saying that right?
Rhaegal.
Yeah.
Rhaegal
Rhaegal.
getting shot is probably the best option out of the two, like the most significant
Sure.
one.
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
because now she's,
Right.
they're
Down.
obviously her tanks, and now she's down to only one.
Right.
So while he did get his, assuming it's a he, while he did get his butt kicked during the war, or the battle,
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, but at least I can justify why you would be shot out of the sky.
Yeah.
More than Missandei getting
It
her
seemed
head cut off.
it seems so convenient that
Yeah. I
mean, it's very convenient,
that
yeah.
they found her, that she was even included in the note that got sent north. Like that was just like, and they've captured Missandei. It's like
Yeah.
also who cares really? Like she's
Oh, poor
no. I think she's a great character, and I think that they have done her wrong these last couple
Yeah.
seasons because they haven't given her anything to do.
Yeah,
but
she just kind of poses.
She just holds Grey Worm's hand.
Yeah.
And says,
That's
"We're
all
gonna
she's been
retire
doing.
tomorrow, baby."
Yeah.
I'll tell you, man, I was kind of rooting for that. I was like,
Right?
just let somebody
One more
leave
day
this
till
place
Yeah.
somewhat happy. I don't even think they need to be full happy. Just
Yeah.
50% happy.
Yeah. Well, that's torment. It's like I'm just gonna go live and be free.
Oh yeah, that is torment. Yeah. Well, but he wasn't totally happy.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
50% happy.
They sank my ship.
Yeah.
cry.
This episode sank a lot of ships.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
But they sank my Torm and Brienne ship.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Is it?
For how
Yes.
googly-eyed he looked at her all the time, I do think they just wrapped that up awfully fast.
Yeah.
With
Awfully
his-
fast.
Like I love the crying, and then that was a quick forget.
Well,
In fairness, who is she going to pick? The guy who she's kind of had something with for years, or the guy who just
No.
bragged about pooping his
No,
pants?
no. I don't think that the problem lies with Brienne. Of course, Brienne's gonna pick Jaime.
Yeah.
I just mean that for Tormund to get over his heartbreak
Oh, sure.
in a dinner.
Yeah.
His
Was a little,
obsession.
and he was
Extraordinary.
obsessed with
Yeah.
her over the course of so many seasons. All right, so now one of the producers of this show, who is it,
Well, guess. Well, you'll read it.
has a theory that Rhaegal is still alive based on the fact that nobody actually says that the dragon dies. Euron says he saw it sink beneath the waves, and Daenerys only says, "You saw my child fall from the sky." Add this to the fact that we don't actually see it dead, and that Dany seems more upset over Missandei dying than one of her children. Plus, Euron knows that drowning is not proof of death, because what is dead may never die. Is this a ploy by Daenerys to have a surprise dragon? Surprise dragon! I want a t-shirt that says surprise dragon in reserve, or is, oh, yeah, of course, Stovetop Steven. Crazy.
Stovetop Steez.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
that was a pretty precise arrow to
It
the
was
face.
from the neck.
Yeah.
So it's like it was choking on its own blood.
You
Yeah.
need the neck to breathe.
Can dragons heal though? Can they heal?
Can they like fast heal?
Probably not
I
in
don't
water.
think so.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Oh, and
don't know.
imagine how much that
Show it
stung
again.
when it
Yeah,
fell
that's
into
good.
the salt water too. It's
And
like,
also,
ooh.
wait, like, can't the drowned god bring back? I don't know. I don't think it'll work this
There's
time.
an old kung fu movie trope, which is if people can get punched a lot, but if they start bleeding from the mouth, they're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
That,
mouth blood equals death.
I love
that
mouth-
checks.
Yeah, right.
I also kind of feel like this might be leading towards the show going with no dragons at the end of the season, as far as like maybe Drogon's not going to make it either. I kind of feel like that's where they're headed, especially after Viserion and now Rhaegal.
Yeah.
Drogon is next, especially with like 20 scorpion bolts on
Yeah.
the front of King's
I
Landing.
like that big wide shot of them all
Yeah.
standing in front, and Drogon's like way far away and like as low to the ground as he can. I'm like, don't shoot me.
All you have to do is like push a button and it's 20 bolts going right at Drogon. I don't know if he can dodge all of that.
Also, I felt kind of, you just saw, obviously your mom is making poor choices. And you just saw your only other brother drop
Yeah.
from the sky because of your mom's choices.
Yeah.
And then your mom's like, hey, spur forward and chase after the
I
people
know.
that just shot your brother full of arrows. And
Yes.
you're like, that's cool. Yeah,
It's
sure,
crazy
Mom.
because
Like,
they-
I hope my kid is never so stupid as to follow me into
Okay,
a
Mom.
terrible situation.
Whatever you say, Mom.
Yeah, okay, Moms.
I completely agree with you, Jess, because like they show that these dragons are emotional and like they have a mind of their
They
own.
have a mind of their own.
And like he's seen now his only other sibling
Yeah.
die. I don't understand why he wouldn't freak the hell out and start firing off
Yeah.
stray,
And
dragon
there's
fire.
not been times, like there was a time where they were sassing back at Daenerys too,
Yeah.
where what's his face was
They're
all,
sassy little dragons.
they're sassy. They're just like, they were telling her to go F herself
Yeah.
a couple of seasons back. Like now they're just completely mind wiped and chill
Yeah.
to go flying into, unless maybe. Maybe. Well, it is teenage years, that's true. And maybe, yeah, shit.
I mean, maybe dragons. I don't know.
I mean, you come back around and you love your mom again after that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Dang it. They were teenagers. Yeah, moving on. This episode had a lot of couples action. Some of the smooching variety, some of it platonic. So let's get to the favorites. First up, Brienne and Jaime finally did it.
Whoa.
Wait, what's it? No. After playing a
Mom?
drinking game, aka
They just
True or
high-fived
False.
all night.
Also, Tyrion with that at the table.
He's the best wingman.
Inappropriate.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, but
But like,
so
I didn't even know he
inappropriate.
was he was like setting this up to think about sex and virginity with her.
Just the way he
I-
did it
I
was
felt
so
bad for Brienne.
creepy and
Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah, I was like, dude, she
Yeah.
doesn't want to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Leave her
yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
And he obviously knew he was bringing up a sore subject.
Yeah, and then he followed her into her room and was like, "Let's ask again."
Yeah.
Like a crazy.
She liked
person.
it.
Jamie
Yeah,
or
Jamie.
Jamie.
Oh no,
They
I'm
were
talking,
both weird.
Well, they were both weird, but at least Jamie had ulterior motives for wanting to ask her
Yeah, he was
again
trying to
because he's
smooch.
like, okay, I think there might be a chance.
Yeah.
But Tyrion just sits down and is like, hey, by the way, entire table of dudes.
Yeah.
That one woman who's finally been made a knight, you're a virgin, aren't you? And
Yeah.
she's like, I very obviously
No,
don't
it's
want to
really
talk about
weird.
this. And he's like, yeah, but let me get into detail about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no.
I totally felt the same way.
That
Yeah.
one creeped me out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad where it ended up with Jaime and Brienne banging, but it creeped me out how they got there.
It worked though.
It did work.
It didn't work,
I mean, he was so the pair finally acted on their many seasons of sexual tension and longing eye contact. However, Jaime ends up leaving to go to Cersei, turning Brienne into a blubbering mess. Thoughts? Were you happy to see Jaime and Brienne together, or do you feel that this was a bit of a botch?
I liked this scene a lot. This is my favorite scene of this whole episode because, I love it because Brienne has only ever known him as what she wants to see him as, which is this gallant knight who's saved her and is like a good person. But when she brings that subject up, that viscerally bothers Jaime because he's finally come to terms with the fact that he's a bad guy, and he's actually confessing to all of these sins that he's done, and he's admitting that they're bad things, and he's not a good guy. So
Yeah,
it's
but
great.
I think I don't think that he's giving her enough credit as a woman that loves him to be like, yeah, that's fine. I know you. I think she knows he's done these things. I mean, they've been stranded together. I mean, she's heard about it from others. Like, it's not a surprise. So, and she obviously still loves him. So he's just acting kind of like a baby.
I don't know, but like we know that as the audience that they like may love each other. I don't know if those characters know that they are sharing a thing obviously, and they've slept together. But I don't know if love registers to Jaime yet. I think
it's been said before by another character. I think it might have been Davos, who was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, she's your mirror image" to Jaime regarding Brienne, and Cersei is literally his mirror image. So it's kind of like he has these two ideas of where his life could go.
right.
Do you think it's Jaime realizing and that he was in a toxic relationship?
Yes, that was
Yeah.
exactly
this
that
is-
moment.
and
I
this
think
is
he's
his
got it.
complete meltdown.
Yeah, he's gonna go really break up with her this time.
Damn.
Yeah,
Is that
for
how you
real.
guys- is that how you guys read it? I was confused as far as what, because people read it differently.
Yeah.
Some people were like, I'm obsessed with Cersei, I'm in love with her, I'm going back to her.
Yeah.
Other people read it as like, she's weighing me down, I gotta go kill her.
No,
So-
I read it as like him talking about all of his crimes and then talking about how they were related to Cersei. It's him admitting that like I'm not a good person and neither is Cersei. We're cut from the same cloth. This isn't gonna work until I take care of Cersei.
I
That's
read it
how I
as
read it
Like
too.
he's not going to
Yeah.
have personal redemption
Yes.
until he takes
He
care of
can't
the
be a good
problematic
person if Cersei
I'm gonna
exists.
go kill her, and if I die doing it, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I read it.
I think it's deliberately meant to be sort of ambiguous about whether he's going to go kill her or confront her, or if he's going to go back to her, kind of thing. I
don't think
it's
he would.
I don't think he would either,
Yeah.
but I think that's what we're supposed to be left with the question about.
Yeah.
Because
He
I
needs
think that
to
happens.
earn Brienne's love in his own mind.
Yeah.
Got it. Although I do feel bad for Brienne having to deal with this.
I don't
because
think. I think she
it's not
should
her
not
fault.
have. I mean, she can react like a person can react in a number of ways, but I think that this character would not have just broken down.
I read
the way
it
that
pretty
she did, but-
differently, actually,
Okay.
because sometimes we see like these woman warrior archetypes being like, I'm hard as hell and I only care about fighting. But, you know, real women are real people and they have vulnerabilities and they have emotions that they have to think about sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually didn't have a problem with her crying. Next, Aria and Gendry. This one hurt me too. Dany
Oh,
has made
boy.
Gendry Lord of Storm's End because she said so, and he decides to shoot his shot and propose to Aria. And unsurprisingly, Aria declined. Did he really expect her to go off with him just to be a wife? I think that out of all the dudes, Gendry doesn't probably expect her to be a lady or a wife. Just hang like my best friend that
Yeah.
that I.
But he digs that
stick it
about
to.
her.
Yeah.
Huh?
He digs that about her.
He's like the most woke one there, and he totally would, I think, let her have her freedom to do whatever she wants to do.
I think Gendry lost her as soon as he said "Lady of Storm's End."
Yeah.
As
The
soon as
minute
he
he
said
said
that, I was
lady.
like, "Dude,
Yeah.
you're done." Because when she said "That's not me," that's what I kept saying before she said it. Because that's what she said to
Yeah.
Ned when she said, "You're going to be a great lady of a great house," and that's like, that's not Arya Stark.
Yeah.
I think he had the best of intentions. He just chose his words poorly.
Yeah, well, he's also a blacksmith that like lived in Flea Bottom for a while. He's not necessarily the king of courting. So
Yeah.
this didn't surprise me that he fell on his face in the scene. For
He's
sure.
also just like, I won the lottery. We're gonna get married, and she's like, no.
Hey, babe, I got a bunch of money now.
I'm not broke anymore.
Just
Yeah.
didn't feel like he could have, because whether she wants to be or not, she is by definition of the ruling class, a lady.
Yeah.
So maybe he only did that because he finally felt he had something to offer her that was
sure.
at her same level.
That was his Aladdin moment.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah.
He's like, I'm not a poor dude. I think you're exactly
I'm
right.
not
Yeah.
riffraff anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it was just. He's obviously been pining for her for a while
Sure.
secretly. So I think that this was just the finally I'm like worthy of in some degree to her.
Sure.
So I think that he was just laying his cards on the table with that one. But used the wrong phrase.
Also, I have a question about Gendry. He was Gendry Waters, right? Not
Rivers.
Gendry Rivers.
Wasn't
I always thought it was Waters too.
I thought it was Waters. Maybe this is like a like one of those Berenstain moments. But
Oh man, yeah.
I thought he was Gendry Waters, and
Yeah.
they called him Gendry Rivers in this. So I don't,
Well, he's
Well, you
from
know what? They
Storm's
also
End.
left a Starbucks coffee cup on the table,
True.
so their heads are all over the
55
place.
long nights, baby.
Yeah, people are getting slap
Yeah.
happy over there. All right, so next up, Jon and Dany. Clearly, the whole incest factor is getting in the way of their romantic
Is it?
relationship. Well, not for her necessarily.
Is it?
John has issues,
He
but
doesn't
John
love
has
it.
lots of issues. John is really trying to prove that he's loyal to Dany, and Dany is extremely jealous of how many people love him. How badly do you think this is all going to play out?
Jon
Maximum
is the stupidest
bad.
man on earth.
John's pretty dumb.
He should not
Shots
have
fired.
said, okay, don't tell anyone,
Yeah,
but
of course.
like
He's
what's
the
going to
worst
happen.
secret keeper on the planet.
Yeah.
Ned Stark kept this secret for decades, and you let it loose in one day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He told her.
I
he
mean-
told. Yeah. It's.
But then again, that's
Sansa's really the one that blew the lid off of this, but
Go ahead.
I
No,
love that she's
I
like,
just-
I don't get all that.
yeah. That's John's character.
Yeah.
I just think
Yeah.
like no
Yeah,
matter
that's
what,
him,
if
yeah.
this is who you claim to love and who you claim to know, that's who he is. That's what
I mean,
John's
he's the
gonna
most
do.
Starks of the Starks,
He
even though
is.
he's not a Stark, because he is just like Ned.
Exactly.
I
and
saw
he
this-
said
Just
he'd
like
rather
him.
make the same mistakes as Ned than to lose his
Right.
honor in
Yeah.
any kind of way.
I saw the scene as like I love you, babe, and he was like ditto. Like that was the scene because she was like,
Wow.
I'm begging you. I've never done this for anybody. I freaking love you. Don't tell no one. And he was like, I don't know, dude. My family's like pretty like tight.
LOL.
I
Guess
didn't see
what?
it like that. I
So-
saw it more like
'Cause if he loved her-
struggling with his honor.
If he really loved her the same way Danny loves him, and she's willing to like, throw caution to the damn wind, as we've seen.
Danny?
Yeah.
For him?
For him, because she wouldn't. Why would she come like do all of this stuff for him? She even says it herself in the show.
Because she's a manipulator. She's not doing this for him. She's doing this for her.
I think she does love him.
She
I
lost
mean, I think
so
she
much.
loves him, but I don't think she loves him as much as she loves herself and her desire.
True. How could you if you're gonna be queen?
She's
you
trying to
gotta
get him
love yourself.
under her thumb as quick
Yeah.
as
That's
possible.
exactly what it
Yeah.
is. And
I don't know. I think it's love.
I don't know because I still feel like
hard
her
disagree.
motivation has always been the Iron Throne. That's
Sure.
her
Yeah.
motivation. That's her goal. I still feel frustrated with Dany because we never really get a reason why. Every time someone like Sansa asks her why, she's like, "It's my destiny. It's what I was born to do." And it's like that. Those are
Yeah.
all vague general statements.
Right.
We never get a reason why you want to rule a nation you don't even know. Like we're, more and more this last season and this season, we get more Dany seeming a little bit more like Viserys. And I think that's rubbing off on her a little bit more. She reminds me more of her brother, who we all know is not
Totally.
a good example, but that's who she was raised by.
Right.
I agree. It doesn't bother me so much though because I feel like it kind of fits into the character she's become now, where she is so nuts and she is so crazy. She doesn't even know her own reasons why. It's become that like insatiable desire. Like she needs this drug, and this drug is the Iron Throne, and she's gonna do whatever she needs to do to get it, no matter who is in her way. And so I don't even know if she needs a reason.
I don't know. I think I can see the reason because it's an honor and a tradition thing, man. Like she knows that the Targaryens were wronged and that they deserve this throne. And I think that's sometimes that's unexplainable, like the need to like act on like doing something right by your family, even if the family has never been good to you.
I would say
can kind of see that.
True, and that's why we were so into her in the beginning of the storyline, but that
Right.
now that we're getting to the point where she is willing to burn it all just for
True.
the sake of burning it
I
so
think
that
that's
she
crazy.
can get her hands
Yeah.
on it, I think that's the shift.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like there's not really any honor behind her motivations anymore.
Oh, it's all petty
It
now.
is all petty
Yeah.
now, and so that's why it's like I would have cheered for that version of Dany to be on the throne, but not this version of
Yeah,
Dany.
this version of Dany seems like she doesn't really know what she's doing anymore.
It's
at
weird how they unwound her so quickly
Mm.
after seasons of like, this is a kind person who believes in freedom.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems fast.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they've done a pretty good job. I mean, they've been planting seeds for her craziness since she probably took the Dothraki out of, what was it called?
Oh, when she burned their thing down?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she's just like that's kind of when like you got okay, and then there's like every season there was a little bit more nuts
Yeah.
sprinkled
Likes-
throughout this
yeah.
Sunday.
Likes burning people a little
Yeah.
too much.
She's starting to believe her, like, believe
Yeah.
her own hype kind of thing. She's
Right.
like, I'm the breaker of chains. I am the mother of, like
Yeah.
all this stuff, and it's like cool, but
Yeah,
also
she's believing her marketing team
Yeah.
a little hard.
Going off that, I think that's kind of why I'm leaning towards, and it took me a minute, but I'm leaning towards Team Sansa on this. Sorry
Yeah.
for anyone who's not Team Sansa,
on,
but
yeah.
No,
she's
we're
the
on.
only
We're
one.
all
I was going to say, am I the only one? Okay.
We're
good.
on board. Maybe not
'cause
him.
She's the only one who's like, let's think, let's
Yeah.
rest, let's use logic.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, what's logic? So
Yeah.
I feel like Sansa is the only one who's like,
She was the only one who was like, how am I going to feed all these people
Exactly,
before
yeah.
they even fought the battle?
and she was saying, let's rest, let's take
Yeah.
a minute, let's take a step back. And Dany's reasoning is always like, no, we can't wait. It's like,
Yeah.
Yep. All right, well, so Lee, it says I am to come to you for reaction. So what are people in the chat
Yes,
saying?
our own Michael Walsh is in chat right now.
Oh, hi, Michael.
Going back to Jaime and Cersei, he's saying that Jaime is going to go save his unborn child in the Red Keep before they get slaughtered. Is his motivation to go back to Cersei instead of I'm in love with her type of thing.
But it's not even a
I was gonna
very
say-
big fetus yet.
I think he's worried about, as Michael was saying, like his child more than Cersei per se.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, if you had to rank them, I'm sure he's more concerned about the baby, but I don't know if that's the reason to go back.
I think he's gonna actually do a good college try of trying to kill her and then not do it in the final minute.
Yeah.
And not be able to bring himself to it. So I think it's still his like goal, but once he sees Cersei, that's all gonna change.
You can't separate
I don't
them
mean
though.
to laugh, but in my head, this is how my brain works. The minute you said goal, I just saw Jaime stabbing her in the chest with the sword and being like, goal!
That would be awesome,
And I
and
was like,
every
what is
crime
wrong
the
with-
show's ever committed would be
What's
forgiven
wrong
by
with me? Why am I this way? Taking a trip down south, it's time for a check-in with Euron and Cersei. So how well adjusted would a child raised by the two of them be?
Bad.
So,
I'm going to go ahead and say that Euron Greyjoy is the worst character in Western
Yeah.
literature.
Yes.
I hate him
I was going to say
so
on the
bad.
show, but you took it
Yeah.
a step
Yeah,
further.
I-
Yeah.
I-
In
very-
Western literature.
Wow.
Okay.
Does
So
that
bad.
include fan fiction?
Is that
Yes.
it makes it so much worse for Rhaegal to be killed by Euron? Because when you saw that it was Euron with a big old grin,
Yeah.
you're
that's
like,
all of
I-
it. Yeah.
out of everyone,
Yeah.
Euron Greyjoy, no.
Yeah, like I've never had frothing hatred for a fictional character as much as this person.
He doesn't bother me. He bothers me, but he doesn't bother me that much, and I don't know why. Like I don't know why.
Have you
Maybe
met
it's-
people like him and you just don't, you glaze over?
You know, honestly, no joke, because he's so much of like a generic kind of comic book character or video game character, and I play so many video games that I feel like it doesn't even really register. That it's just kind of like, yeah, of course there's one of you in here.
What
you know?
bothers me more is their relationship, like Cersei's and Euron's relationship. I hate it. What does he have to offer Cersei that she can't already just
Ships?
have? She's got the ships. Dunzo, kill him and
He
take
did
over.
drop the ball on the elephants, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, she
Strike
doesn't
against
need
it.
him as a person at all. Yet here she is needing him as a person.
I am
don't know. Crazy.
guaranteed that she would have killed him the minute he won the battle for her.
Yeah.
I think she's
her
still
plan.
thinking
But
about it.
she
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
"Let him
Yeah.
smash," and
She
now look where we are.
absolutely is disgusted by him, for sure.
Yeah.
You could see it in her face.
She even rolled her eyes when she was
Yeah.
like, "It's yours, by the way." And she did like a big eye roll.
Okay.
So yeah, for sure. Yeah.
As long as she's pregnant with, he thinks his kid, he's not
I
going
think
to try to
he
kill her.
might
so-
not
Even
think it's
Tyrion-
his now.
Even Tyrion was like, you know,
Yeah.
your child. If I were Euron, I'd be like, how did he know about our baby?
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
just
That's
told
the
me.
big-
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no way he could know.
Maybe
Yeah,
they'll bring
exactly.
that up next episode. Varys and Tyrion also had a lot to discuss. Varys talked about serving the people, and he does seem like this seems like a weird sentence to come out of my mouth, the most noble person in the land. When it comes to that, will he and Tyrion switch sides and favor Jon Snow as king?
Now I think it's going to be an advice fight, a council fight for
Yeah,
sure.
hand
I think-
fight.
Yeah. Hand fight for the hand, because I think Varys for sure has defected. He defected the moment he stared at Sansa in that dinner. You know, I think he is for the realm. He's even said it, and I think Tyrion knows exactly what he's planning to do, and begs him in that scene where they're talking to not do it. Don't do it, please. And I think we're going to have a
Don't understand
plot off.
Tyrion's weird loyalty
Yeah.
to Daenerys.
Because it's the first person he's ever believed in, and I think that's a very powerful thing for a man like Tyrion. If you think about his like history.
I mean, okay, that's actually a good response.
I really miss the two of them together. That's what this episode made me realize is Varys and Tyrion sparring verbally, but it's not really at the level it once was.
Right. It wasn't a Littlefinger and
Where-
Varys conversation.
That's what it is.
You know
it's
what I mean?
Littlefinger. I'm missing Littlefinger.
yeah.
Sorry, guys,
Yeah.
I miss him.
Yeah,
because-
he was really good.
So good.
Because
He
the
was
problem
really
is
good.
those were two characters who knew what it had to be done to keep the realm safe in their own ways.
Yeah.
And say what you want about Littlefinger, but he was playing the Game of Thrones, and he was trying to keep the realm safe in his mind. That's why they were great opponents. But what does Tyrion want? What do you have to offer? I don't know.
Can we also say this is foreshadowing what they've been saying what they've been saying since last season, which is Varys' death and his betrayal of Dany?
Yeah.
Because if you guys caught on
I don't remember that.
Yeah, so Varys came in and basically begged Dany to keep her on the team, and Dany was like, fine, I'll keep you, but if you ever betray me, and she said it very boldly, I will burn you alive. And I was like, why are they? And then after that, we see Missandei say to Varys, you know, you're gonna die here. Like literally 20 minutes later. And I was like, oh, so we know Dany is gonna burn Varys alive because he betrays her.
There we go.
Theory, I think Varys is already working with Sansa. Sansa is gonna have Arya kill Dany. She's got green eyes. I don't know.
That's true. They focused on Dany's
I don't
eyes.
know.
I know in the books they're purple, but
in
they're
the show,
green in
they're
the
green.
show.
Yeah. I
And they
don't
made
know.
a big point about shedding green eyes.
I don't know.
What did you say?
Sansa is plotting, and she's gonna have Varys help her use Arya to kill Dany. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think Aria. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, that would work too. All right, so a moment that had people upset. This person right here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
very
Actually,
upset.
me too. Pretty
Me
much everybody
too.
at this table.
Yeah.
Was Jon Snow not even bothering to give Ghost a goodbye pet?
Crazy.
Was this the most gregarious snub in all of Game of Thrones?
In all of Western literature.
In all of Western literature.
He
It
should
was
have
pretty shitty.
It was.
pet him.
It was
He's a
the
good
worst.
boy.
One might say it was pretty petty.
Yeah. Kill me.
Yeah. Just because you don't have the budget to have him interact with this dog doesn't mean that you should just be like, all right, bye.
See ya.
Yeah.
The bond between a dire wolf,
Yeah.
and I know this is bigger in the books, but it's a bond that's unbreakable. It's literally like two sides of the same coin kind of thing. You're the same. Like you and Ghost are together. You're tethered essentially, and you can't even like hug him. You
I
can hug
paused the
Gilly?
scene. I paused the scene and I got up and I said, "No, you didn't!" And I ran around my apartment, my house, and I freaked out because the thing is like direwolves are the sigil of the Starks, and they're also as important as a dragon. They're mystical creatures.
They are mystical. Yeah.
He fought zombies for you, my dude.
Yeah,
Like,
he's still bleeding.
yeah,
He's still
they're
bleeding
huge.
and looking
They're
at
the
you.
last of their kind, and also the line where he's like, he belongs north of the wall. That's where he belongs. No, he didn't. You found these wolves right outside Winterfell.
Yeah.
You dunce.
Yeah,
don't
I feel
understand.
like they're making us hate like Dany, and now they're making us hate Jon
Yeah.
too. We're like, you know what? I don't want anyone to win.
Yeah.
The only
over.
thing that could save this for me is maybe because of the bond, there's some weird telepathic or some sort of like way of reading each other's expressions connection where he says what Jon says what he says, but really he's like, yo, I just want you to hide and keep watch on everything.
Yo, get into
and then
this briefcase.
Jump back in when the jumping back in is right. Like maybe he's just, maybe it's not a total goodbye. Listen, guys, I know you're shaking your heads, but we need to have Ghost back. It's not cool.
In the books, his last thought before he dies is of Ghost.
That's some bullshit.
That's messed
see?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and also like it's not that easy to send a direwolf away. Remember Arya sending Nymeria away? Like you can't. Like you got. It's not when you have a bond that's that strong. I don't think Ghost would just be like, okay, I'll go north then.
Yeah.
Unless they have a plan. That's what I'm saying.
maybe.
Maybe they're super chill about it because they know in their brains that it's not really goodbye.
And I think
that
it was
just
if I were
hold
to
up.
try to give credit to the show, I think it's like their way of saying what Ned Stark always said, which is the lone wolf dies and the pack survives, and this is kind of like a symbolic gesture of like Jon Snow's the lone wolf now. He's not part of the Starks, and now he's riding south to go die. And I think that's what that scene was about, but
Maybe.
it was still a massive bummer.
Also, I know I'm supposed to move on, but can I just throw one more thing out there that is completely unrelated to anything we've talked about? Gilly, having them make a big deal about Gilly being pregnant when Jon finds out, I wonder if that's because Gilly's going to be one of the people that gets killed. Oh no, she would have to be at Night's Landing. She's not. She's in Winterfell. Never mind. Ignore that I even said that.
Okay.
Now that we have broken down the episode, I just don't understand why they would make a big deal. Who cares if Gilly's pregnant again? Anyway,
Gilly
let's
and Sam have a
discuss-
happy ending.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
end.
That's why. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it? Okay, I guess. Let's discuss who was the MVP over on Nerdist.com. Our very own Lindsay Romaine has named Varys as the MVP of this episode. Do you guys agree? And if you don't agree, who was your MVP and why?
Missandei, because her last words were basically, give him hell, burn it all. She went out brave.
Yep.
Definitely not Varys, because I feel like what I just said, he's definitely digging his own grave.
Yeah.
I would say, you know what? I know a lot of people were saying Cersei, and that's probably what you guys are going to pick. I'm going to say Qyburn. I think Qyburn really out-dueled Tyrion, where he's like, we got an army, we took out your dragon, we got more ships, you're the one who's not using logic, and you're supposed to be Mr. Logic. I just thought Qyburn's burn was like, that's the smartest I've ever seen Qyburn, and I feel like he won the whole episode with that scene.
I'd have to go with Missandei for the exact same reason. I thought
she was screwed,
went out like a boss.
but she went out like a boss.
I didn't want her to go out at all, but since she had to, that was a good way of doing it. What do you think?
I just, as a curveball, I'm going to say Arya because she's like, nah, I don't need any of this. I'm just going to go head off with the Hound again. I thought that was cool. That and very true
That
to
was
her.
very cool.
She
too.
had very good characterization, and I can't say that about everyone.
Arya and Sansa, to a degree, are the most consistently written characters and during these last few seasons, which have been very inconsistent. So I do at least thank that, because they've been characters that I've stuck to the most, I think.
Yeah.
I think the MVP is undisputable. Sorry, I think Bronn made off like a bandit. He did.
True.
That is
Punched
an
Tyrion in
I
the
forgot
face, and
about
then
Bronn.
now he's the Lord of
Highgarden.
A lot of people hated that moment. I
Loved
loved
it.
I loved it.
He's the only person who acted with
It's
any
smart,
sort of
man.
logic.
Yeah.
Hey, I was hired to kill you.
He
You
also
said
got
you'd
into
pay me double.
Winterfell real
Yeah.
easy.
That's the thing. I hated how kind of random and pop-up
was
it
pretty
was,
random.
but I loved the dialogue and the whole shtick that happened once he was in the room.
It was
Yeah,
so.
it was
I was
great.
cracking up the whole scene because it felt like, yo, what's up, bitches?
Yeah.
Yo, give me the land.
Give
or
me
I'ma
the
shoot you
land.
right now.
This is
Get
how it
on the
works.
toilet or it's going down.
Yeah.
Good night. This bow is sharp. Okay, bye. Yeah.
Braun's brilliant.
Yeah, he's great.
Like, he
MVP for
himself,
sure.
yeah, man.
At
I
this
get
point,
it.
I'd give him Highgarden if anything
Yeah,
didn't ask
yeah,
me.
take it.
I'd be like, bro, take it.
You deserve
Highgarden.
it, man. That's cool. All right, so very quickly, we only have 2 episodes left in this final season. What are your predictions? Why don't you go, Jason? We'll go this way.
Yeah, I think, okay, Jaime's going to try to kill Cersei. He's not going to be able to do it in the final moment. He will have a duel with Euron, and it's not going to go well. And I think Arya might have to kill everybody on her list. Like, I think Clegane Bowl's going to happen. They're going to fight each other.
Clegane
For
Bowl's
sure, but that's going to
happening, though.
mortally wound the Hound, and Hound is going to ask for a mercy kill from Arya. That's what I think is going to happen. And yeah, I'll stop there. I have a lot of predictions, but that's my
because
big
he's
one.
like, oh, you're going to leave me to die again, and she's like, no.
He's like, not. She's gonna be like, not this time. And his name is on her list, and unfortunately, she's gonna kill everybody on that list.
No.
Oh, I love the mercy killing idea.
And that's why she went with him.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
knows.
She knows.
She knows.
It makes so much sense.
She's part of
think
the
she knows.
many-faced God now. She knows. It's.
I think she's got multiple things brewing.
I think just because of who's directing next episode, everything big is going to happen next episode, and then the final episode's literally just going to be tying up loose ends.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some shit next week.
Well, but what shit are we going to see?
All of it, everyone, everybody
Shakespearean
who is going to
shit.
die is going to die
Betrayals.
next week.
Yeah.
I think,
It's going to be a
Conceivably,
splatter
yeah.
spray of shit.
Valar Morghulis, baby.
yeah, I think Sansa, Arya, and Tyrion are going to live, and everybody else maybe is going to die. Next week.
Yeah, next week. I wonder if I know that everybody. What was the name of the song that everybody's
Jenny song?
the Jenny song? Yeah, I wonder if everybody thought it was Sansa. At least everybody that I saw on Twitter thought it was in regards to Sansa. Possibly. I wonder if it's actually in regards to Cersei, where Cersei actually does come out on top. I don't think this is going to happen, but I think it would be cool. Potentially in Berenstain universe that
Yeah.
Cersei comes out on top and she's destroyed everything and everyone and she's basically left with rubble and so she goes insane in her own halls. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen. I actually think Dany's gonna kill Jon somehow, but
Yeah, I mean, we still haven't seen what Bran eventually saw, which is the dragon flying over King's Landing. We still haven't seen the vision of the House of the Undying with Dany seeing everything covered in what I believe is now ash. We can now officially say.
yeah.
So I feel like Dany is going to go full Mad Queen and burn King's Landing. I think that's a big prediction. I also feel like it's going to be between 2 Mad Queens. The problem I see is that I don't think that Jon is the right one for the throne. I still feel like, I'm sorry, I'm Team Sansa again. I think she's the right one for the throne, but I feel like they're leaning towards Jon versus Dany and Cersei versus Jaime. So
Yeah, for
those
sure.
are the 2.
I would like to see Sansa and Tyrion as co-regents of the throne.
Yeah.
I
Ooh,
think.
that'd be good.
yeah, because they are still
good team
technically
up.
married too,
Yeah.
right?
Are they?
I think they got annulled.
Sansa and Tyrion.
Kind of.
Oh, they
Because
got it
never
annulled.
consummated.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
And then
Got
she
it.
Well,
was
they
supposed
had
to be
that
married to-
moment. I mean,
but they still talk to each other as if they're married.
I think
Yeah.
that's the
And
point.
people still reference them as
Yeah.
being married. So I don't, whatever.
I think Arya might somehow get Jaime's face and kill Cersei.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be all right.
It
And
could happen.
that's a good way to double down on that plot, because technically then he did kind of
He did
kill
do
her.
it.
And then Arya still did it too, so that'd be cool. Yeah, I like that one. And with that, let's take a look at next week's episode coming up. All right. So what do you guys think will happen in the episode next week? All I know is I want Cersei's Taylor in my life.
Selfishly, I want Euron to get dragon blasted.
That's not selfish. That's
Yeah.
for the good of
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, for the realm.
It's for the realm.
For the good of writing.
I don't want that to happen because it's not brutal enough.
Yeah, you're right.
He
Yeah,
needs
you really hate him.
he needs to get stomped in a 5-minute scene a la Drive. The elevator scene in Drive.
jeez.
I hate him so much.
All right. So what do you guys think? So you think Euron's gonna get crisped?
Yeah.
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 That's all you're going with?
And
This has to be the major deaths.
This is
Yeah.
the major death.
This is
episode,
it.
Yeah.
Grey Worm. Grey Worm is one of my favorite characters. I think he's gonna kill like 100 soldiers.
Oh.
I think he might even kill the Mountain. I know that's
Yeah.
Clegane. That's
Yeah.
the whole Clegane
Yeah.
Bowl, but I
Yeah.
feel like he might steal that from.
He's
The
gonna
Hound.
go crazy
Yeah.
now.
He's the best fighter
Or
on
the
the show.
Hound gets defeated, Arya kills the Hound,
Yeah.
but
Or-
and
and then
the
Grey Worm
Mount
just
Grey
finishes
Worm
him
just
off.
goes off. Yeah. He's in berserker mode
He's
for sure.
the best fighter on the
Yeah.
show,
Yeah,
so he's
by
gonna
far,
kill
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
people.
All right, and with that, let's give a huge thank you again to our guests, Jason Wynn, Kyle Anderson, Andre Cabrera, and Kim Horcher. Where can everybody find you guys? Socials.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Squad Leader Ace, and also on the Meaning of Podcast and Casterly Talk.
My name is different on every platform because I'm stupid. So go to the one that's verified.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Jason?
I think you can find me at Maiden Jason on Twitter and Instagram. MADEINJAZN, baby.
Jason has the best hipster Instagram I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Pretty amazing.
Nice.
one of the
Okay.
better.
you wanna-
Kyle?
You can find me on Twitter at Functional Nerd, where I have a lot of snide things to say about Euron Greyjoy.
All right, that is it for today's All Kings Considered. If you're looking for more intense Game of Thrones analysis, make sure and watch today's Nerdist News, because we're breaking down what is Jaime Lannister's real deal with Cersei. And then head on over to Nerdist.com for more theories and explanations about everything going down this season. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Nerdist YouTube or Geek and Sundry's Twitch so that you can so that we can see you next week for a new All Kings Considered at 12 p.m. PST Live. Until then, have a great day and bye.
Bye.